This video is inspired by Zoe Bee's video entitled Ben Shapiro's Wrong. Facts do care about your feelings. So all credits should go to Zoe Bee, as without Zoe Bee, this video would not be possible. So thank you very much, Zoe Bee. And for the rest of you, please enjoy the video. And if you have not done so, please click subscribe. Thank you. Let me show you a picture of a lovely Tang Dynasty lady. Isn't she beautiful? Just look at those gorgeous, robust curves. Gorgeous, gorgeous. What? How dare you not find her beautiful? How dare you defy the objective standard of beauty? Don't try to force your authoritarian tolerance on me, Mr. Man. Good morning, you leftist communist heathens. I just want you to know that facts don't care about your feelings. And I'm bigger and stronger and more of a man than you are. Therefore, my facts are more equal than your facts. So fuck you! So you've probably heard the right wing using this expression, facts don't care about your feelings. Again and again and again and again and again. You know, it plays like a broken record, you know. If I were to have $1 for every time I heard this expression by right-wing pundits from Ben Shapiro to Jordan Peterson, oh, I'd be a rich man by now, you know. There comes a point when this phrase becomes something of a catchphrase used by the right. So you're probably aware by this point that right-wingers are the party that proclaim to be the party of facts, and they decry left-wing progressives as the party of feelings. Yeah, apparently right-wingers are supposed to have the monopoly on facts, rationality, and objectivity, while left-wingers are supposed to be the ones who are guided by feelings, emotions, and temper tantrums. Although I don't know if this is strictly the case, because, you know, just make a mockery of people like Jordan Peterson or Kenny Xu or Thomas Sowell or Ben Shapiro, and just see how butthurt some tradcon right-wing macho men get when you start mocking their heroes, yeah. But I am not here to virtue signal about how the left wing is really the party of facts while the right wing is the party of feelings. No, you see, that would be dragging myself down to their level, you see. You see, the right wing loves to say that there is no your truth, my truth. There is only one truth. You know, as if it's a bad thing to say that there is your truth and my truth, you know. I mean, it's just incredible to me that they would treat being humble as a bad thing. Because when you think about it, there really is no one truth. No two people will view the world the same way. I don't view the world the same way as somebody from a Western culture, right? Or an African culture, or a Middle Eastern culture for that matter. And likewise, people from those cultures who adhere to the beliefs set in those cultures do not view the world through Asian eyes, you see. So every culture has its own truths. Now, whether those truths are equal or not, whether every culture, you know, is equal, which I don't think they are, but is an issue about moral relativism. That's not for this video. The point is, when you say that I have my truth and you have your truth, that's actually a good thing. That means you're humble enough to say that I don't know what the absolute, objective, God-given truth is, but this is the world from the way I see it, and you can see the world in the way you see it. That's actually a humble stance to take. But right-wingers, at least in America, treat truth as if it was something concrete. Concrete and able to be measured in terms of, you know, how broad or wide or tall it is, like a tree. And it's the same thing, you know, with how they try to measure intelligence. Like right-wingers in the West have this pathological obsession with putting everybody into boxes and putting everything into categories. They think they can even measure things like intelligence, which is very, very difficult to quantify, you know? So, to me, saying that you don't know what the actual truth is, but everyone has their own truth, is actually a sign of humility, not a sign of weakness, right? Like the right makes it out to be. So we've mentioned that truth varies according to culture. You know, there's no absolute truth since every culture has its own version of truth, right? Now, here's the problem. When you do that, when you say that, you open up Pandora's box and then people will start saying, oh, does that mean that cultures which practice child marriage are okay by your standards? Oh, are you saying be non-judgmental? So, don't judge cultures that practice child marriage, you groomer! Oh, you see, the left is full of groomers and perverts and degenerates! Oh, why do you want to follow that degenerate, hippie and immoral party? Urgh! Okay, here's the thing. I have never, ever advocated for or espoused child marriages, okay? Because my sensibilities are also influenced by modern standards, right? Modern standards. Because in the olden days, you see, and this is gonna start, I'm going into slightly murky territory here. In the olden days, people lived much shorter lives. And adulthood and adolescence were not the same as adulthood and adolescence today. Like even for you right-wing Christian fundamentalists in America, many of your biblical figures got married at an awfully young age, right? I think it was, how old was Jesus' mother when she married Joseph? 14, 15, or something like that. And a person's body is not fully developed until they reach post-puberty, which is basically in the, you know, the late teens, or for some people it's the early 20s, right? So, since we've acknowledged that modern science, since modern science tells us that, you know, people are not fully developed by the time they are in their early teens, we can therefore conclude that marriage is not conducive, right? It's not conducive until one's late teens or early 20s. In fact, I think marriage should be for late 20s or early 30s. That's what I think. I think that yeah, you don't figure out who you really are until your late 20s, you know. I certainly didn't, and we live much longer lives today. So yeah, but that's my opinion, right? That's how I see it. I don't care what age you choose to get married, so long as you're on the right side of the legal age of consent. Right, okay, where were we? Yeah. So, you see, truth not only varies by culture, but by time frame as well. You know how conservatives really go apeshit when they see a man in a pair of ballet flats and a tutu or a dress? They go like, oh no, modern men are going to the dogs. Bring back masculinity. Bring back lumberjacks. Bring back traditional masculinity. Here's the thing. You are viewing traditional masculinity from a post-industrial revolution morass. You're not viewing it through an objective lens, you see. Let me tell you, back in the time of King Henry VIII, men were wearing jewelry, cod pieces, you know, the metal thing over your dick. They were wearing frilly clothing and, colorful tights, because those things denoted status, right? And those things were a sign that a man had money. Yeah, you see? And you don't even need to go back so far. You can go back to the time of King Louis, when men were wearing high-heeled shoes to court and women were wearing flats. And in fact, you guys who like to claim evolutionary biology, who go apeshit if you see a man in a pair of high-heeled shoes. Look, biologically speaking, right, men, the males of most species are supposed to be bigger than the females of each species, right? So biologically speaking, high-heeled shoes actually make sense for men because it gives them a height advantage. But because of your feelings associated with high-heeled shoes, associating it with women, because women started adopting high-heeled shoes in Europe in order to, as a power move, and men started giving up high-heeled shoes when they started entering factories. The black shoes that you wear, those black work shoes, these are basically work boots that have been shortened, yeah? So your mores of what makes a manly man, you're thinking about the Victorian schoolmaster, right? A sober and very, very austere Victorian schoolmaster, or Don Draper. That is post-industrial revolution Victorian mores. It is not objective masculinity. It's influenced by the culture you're in, right? Now, in some cultures, they even have beauty pageants for men in which the women choose the winner gets to fuck the judges, right? It's inconceivable for a modern Western cultural mores. In fact, that may be seen as a travesty to some conservative men in the West, because it doesn't gel with their feelings. Get it? Feelings. So here's the thing. You really are not as objective and rational as you think you are, right? You, my friend, my conservative macho friend, are as influenced by your feelings and your culture and your surroundings and your environment as I am, right? But at least I'm willing to acknowledge that. I see the world through Confucian lens. Here's the thing. You are not as rational and objective as you think you are. You too are inspired by feelings. But I think most Western conservative men, most American conservative men, if they were to see two men holding hands, they would also go apeshit, If they were on the far right end of the spectrum, they would go like, oh no, the permissibility of homosexuality these days has made it acceptable for all these degenerate faggots to express their proclivities in public. They should keep it in the bedroom. Ooh! But the funny thing is that men holding hands, is only something that modern Western Judeo-Christian culture has a bee in its bonnet about, right? Because in the Arab world, men hold hands, men watch movies together. Like, it's normal for two guys in an Arab country to go to the cinema together and watch a movie. Two heterosexual dudes. Men do stuff together. Men touch each other without any homosexual connotations. Now, I'm not saying that homosexuality is wrong, but these Arab countries are far from what you would describe as being gay paradises or bastions of, homosexual privilege, they're not places that are very friendly to gays. But in their culture, it's perfectly acceptable for men to hold hands, or for men to watch movies together, or for men to rub noses, right? Like when I was an ESL teacher, one of my students even taught me a way to greet people, and that's by the nose rub, in some of the Middle Eastern countries, right? In your culture, things are done differently. It doesn't mean either way of doing it is wrong, yeah? except in COVID times, you probably don't want to be rubbing noses. It just means people have a different way of doing things, right? I'm not even talking about child marriage or anything like that. In their mind, men holding hands is not something disgusting or not something, it's not something that's really, really ickish. But in your mind, it's ickish because you, my friend, have been influenced by your feelings. You know, your feelings as a result of your cultural conditioning. Get it? So I hope by the end of this video you realize that really everybody is influenced by their feelings. Neither the left nor the right has got some monopoly on the facts, and facts are constantly changeable. Facts are flexible, meaning that what is a fact today may be fiction tomorrow, right? And what was considered fiction yesterday will be a fact tomorrow, maybe, you know? Because nobody, for example, nobody ever entertained the prospect of the world being round at one point, right? Everyone believed that it was a scientific fact that the world was flat, right? Because, well, we are walking horizontally, right? We're walking like this, so how can the world be round? We're not walking like this, but it was discovered as a result of scientific knowledge that the world is round. In the past, it was accepted as scientific fact that, you know, our world was the only world in the universe, right? I mean, there were not several universes, but that has been proven otherwise as a result of astronomy. Not astrology, yeah? Astrology is the feelings department. And of course, it was assumed at one point that the world was made in 7 days, just 10,000 years ago. Well, you know, biological dating has proven that this world we live in is billions and billions of years old, right? So these are just things that were considered to be fiction in the past that are now considered as fact today. And in fact, in some societies, it was considered that people who used their left hand were possessed by the devil, right? And so they needed to use their right hand because it was considered factual that left-handers were cursed. But today we know that being a lefty like me is simply, you know, it's simply a scientific fact. It's just the way your brain is wired, right? So, yeah, I guess that's it. That's it for the video today, and hope you all have a great day. And remember, facts don't care about your feelings, but facts are influenced by your feelings. The end.